Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about something that I think affects every single one of us at some point in our lives: the comparison trap. It's that little voice in our head that whispers, "You're not smart enough, you're not rich enough, you're not talented enough." It's a heavy weight to carry, and it can steal our joy and blind us to our own unique strengths. To illustrate this, I want to share a story with you. It's about a young boy named Ethan. Ethan lived in a peaceful, cozy village right next to a beautiful, sprawling forest. If you were to ask anyone in the village about him, they'd tell you he was one of the kindest, most hardworking boys around. He was always the first to offer a helping hand, always greeted everyone with a warm, genuine smile. But behind that smile, Ethan carried a quiet sadness, a secret burden that he didn't share with anyone. You see, Ethan was constantly comparing himself to others. It was like an automatic reflex he couldn't turn off. When his best friend, Liam, aced another test and got the highest marks in their class, Ethan wouldn't just feel happy for his friend. Instead, a wave of disappointment would wash over him. He'd think, "I wish I were that smart. Why can't I understand things as quickly as Liam does?" The feeling of inadequacy would gnaw at him, making his own efforts feel small and insignificant. Then there was his neighbor, Ryan. Ryan's family was quite wealthy, and he always had the newest toys and the fanciest clothes. When Ethan saw Ryan riding his brand new bike, a gift for no special reason, he wouldn't just admire it. He'd look down at his own worn-out shoes and feel a pang of envy. He'd wish his family had more money, that he could have all the things Ryan had. These thoughts made him feel a sense of lack, as if his life was missing something crucial that others possessed. It didn't stop there. During school sports days, he'd watch the other boys sprint across the field, their legs moving like lightning. Ethan, who was more of a steady and strong type, would feel his heart sink. He saw their speed and felt his own perceived slowness as a weakness. "Why can't I run that fast?" he'd ask himself, feeling defeated before he even began the race. The joy of participating was overshadowed by the disappointment of not being the fastest. These thoughts were like relentless shadows, following him everywhere he went. They crept in during class, making it hard to concentrate. They visited him at the dinner table, making his food taste bland. They even whispered to him as he tried to fall asleep at night. This constant cycle of comparison left him feeling perpetually unhappy, distracted, and unable to appreciate all the good things he had in his own life. His kindness, his work ethic, his own unique abilities, all were invisible to him, hidden behind the curtain of what he wasn't. One sunny afternoon, a wise old traveler named Grandpa Joe arrived in the village. He wasn't famous or rich, but he carried an air of calm and gentle wisdom that drew people to him. He had wrinkles around his eyes that crinkled when he smiled, and he had a way of listening that made you feel like you were the only person in the world. Word of his wisdom spread quickly, and soon, villagers were seeking his counsel. Seeing the sadness in Ethan's eyes, one of the village elders suggested he talk to Grandpa Joe. Hesitantly, Ethan approached the old man, who was sitting under the shade of a large oak tree. With a kind and encouraging smile, Grandpa Joe invited Ethan to sit with him. For the first time, Ethan felt safe enough to share his secret worries. He poured out his heart, explaining how he felt less smart than Liam, less wealthy than Ryan, and less athletic than the other boys. He described the constant, exhausting feeling of not being good enough. Grandpa Joe listened patiently, nodding thoughtfully without saying a word. He didn't interrupt, he didn't offer quick advice, he just listened. When Ethan finished, a single tear rolling down his cheek, Grandpa Joe placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "I understand," he said softly. "Your heart is heavy. Let's meet tomorrow morning, right here, near the oldest tree in the forest. I want to show you something." Ethan, feeling a flicker of hope, agreed. The next morning, as the sun's first rays filtered through the leaves, Ethan found Grandpa Joe waiting for him. The old man gestured towards the vast forest before them. "Tell me, Ethan," he said, "what do you see?" Ethan looked out and described the scene. He saw towering, majestic oak trees with thick, strong trunks. He saw slender, graceful birch trees with their paper-white bark. He saw apple trees, their branches heavy with the promise of sweet fruit, and vibrant cherry blossom trees, covered in delicate pink flowers. There were tall trees and short trees, wide trees and thin trees. Each one was different, and yet, together, they created a breathtakingly beautiful landscape. Grandpa Joe smiled. "Exactly," he said. "Now, think about this. Does the apple tree ever feel sad because it's not as tall as the coconut tree? Does it look at the oak and wish its trunk were thicker? No. It focuses all its energy on growing the sweetest, juiciest apples it can. And does the coconut tree ever wish it could bloom with beautiful flowers like the cherry tree? Of course not. It proudly grows its coconuts high up in the sky. Each tree has its own purpose, its own beauty, its own strength. The forest is beautiful not because all the trees are the same, but because they are all different." Grandpa Joe then led Ethan to a crystal-clear pond at the edge of the forest. In the water, a fish with shimmering silver scales swam gracefully, its fins propelling it effortlessly through its liquid world. High above, a majestic eagle soared through the sky, its powerful wings catching the wind. "Look," Grandpa Joe said, pointing to the water and then to the sky. "The fish is a master of its world, the water. It can breathe and move in ways no other creature can. Does it look up at the bird and wish it could fly? Does it feel inadequate because it's bound to the pond?" Ethan shook his head, and the bird, Grandpa Joe, continued, "It is the king of the sky. It can see the world from a perspective the fish will never know. Does it look down at the fish and wish it could explore the cool depths of the pond? No. Each is special in its own world. Each has a gift the other does not. They don't waste their time wishing they were something else. They simply are." In that moment, standing by the pond with the wise old man, something clicked inside Ethan. It was like a light had been switched on in a dark room. He finally understood. He had been so busy looking at the eagle and wishing he could fly, and looking at the fish and wishing he could swim, that he had never stopped to discover his own world, his own unique gifts. He turned to Grandpa Joe, his eyes shining with newfound understanding. "I get it," he said, a real, joyful smile spreading across his face. "I've been trying to be a coconut tree and an eagle, when all I need to be is me." From that day forward, Ethan made a promise to himself. Every time the urge to compare himself to someone else surfaced, he would remember the forest and the pond. He would remember the wisdom of Grandpa Joe. He stopped focusing on what he wasn't and started paying attention to what he was. He realized he might not be the fastest runner, but he had incredible stamina and could hike for miles without getting tired. He discovered he had a natural talent for carving wood, turning simple blocks into beautiful figures of animals and birds. He learned that while he might not get the top grades in every subject, He was an amazing storyteller, captivating his friends with tales of adventure and magic. With time, as he nurtured his own strengths, Ethan blossomed. His quiet sadness was replaced by a quiet confidence. He was still kind and hardworking, but now he was also happy, content in his own skin. He grew into a successful young man, respected not for being like someone else, but for being a master of his own unique talents. Ethan's journey shows us that true happiness and success don't come from being better than others. They come from accepting who you are and becoming the best version of yourself. So, the next time you find yourself falling into the comparison trap, I want you to remember, Ethan. Remember the forest. You are not meant to be a copy of someone else. You have your own purpose, your own talents, your own path. Embrace your uniqueness. Water your own garden, and you will be amazed at what can grow. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. And share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. Until next time, be kind to yourself.